Is Janet from another planet? 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 Is Janet from another planet?
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, everybody. You are in A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie, episode 51, where we discuss the wonderful 1978 classic directed by John Landis, Animal House. Hey, Janet, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. When we first started discussing this movie, you had not seen it yet, in the time it had been released till now.
I'm shocked.
What?
I was shocked that I hadn't seen it. I'd seen like a couple pieces. I guess it was on like shows or whatever, where you see him going toga, or a food fight, that little stuff. But that's it. I'd never actually see the movie before, so I really enjoyed it. I laughed my butt off.
Now, there are some people out there that they're within their rights. Hey, Six Nation 31 Kings. Hey, Shadow and Sun. They're within their rights not to like Hollywood too much because of all the problems that are in Hollywood. And namely, we've discussed that on What Lurks in the Shadows and other really bad things that you probably shouldn't discuss on YouTube. There's Spaces for that. There's Rumble for that. There's Odyssey for that.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are bad. There are some bad people in Hollywood.
Yes.
Tau Delta Chi, everybody says. Six Nation 31 Kings. Oh, wow. Delta's never kept the same name. Every time you see that, the arrangement of the Greek letters, it changes. It seems to change. So,
go ahead.
You get to watch this movie, and you're pretty much introduced to Otter and Delta, the fraternity house of Delta, right away, because you get to see what turns into Pinto and Flounder. You see those guys get their pledge, and they failed the pledge over at Omega first.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're watching this movie, Janet, as a new person to this film, I got to ask you, what were you thinking?
Well, it took me a little while to figure out, do they really do that stuff in college? Because I just went to a trade school, for floral type of stuff. So I was like, if grown people do rituals and pledges and stuff like that for real in college,
yes, they do.
We've got some real problems.
It's called being in a fraternity, and things like that happen.
Well, that was really hard for me to get past because I thought the whole thing about it was just stupid. That grown people would do, you know, I don't know. I just had a really hard time getting into that part of it. I've heard people talk about it, but the women, when they talk about it, they just said the dumb things they had to do. They had to sew a shirt, you know, or, you know, some dumb thing, you know, making crafts or baking a certain food and taking it to certain guys, stuff like that. But when the guys would talk about it, which I've heard a few guys talk about stuff like that, and they always were like very secretive about, well, we can't talk about our rituals, but if they did rituals where they had to crawl on all fours and get spanked by other guys and stuff in their underwear, I can see why they don't want to talk about it. But that's all that's all I'll say about that.
Flatey starts talking about things that we don't really talk about much today, but the lie nose, which is actually the blue nose, and the shellback ritual in the United States Navy. Blue nose is whenever you go over the circle. Whenever you touch that, you got to go do that, and that's a rough ritual. I never got a chance to do either of those, and I'm a little upset. Did other stupid things, like driving a skid steer in really hot summer weather. But blue nose, I know people that did that, and they have the accreditations, they've got the posters, they've got everything. And then they started showing videotape of these things like 10, 12 years ago, the blue nose or the shellback ritual, and they're just brutal. So that's the fraternity thing that you enter when you're in the Navy. The Navy, I would assume, is probably more gentle than the frats that are displayed here, because I mean, the Navy typically, like the blue nose, I know you drag your hoses, you drag some fire hoses, some 1.5-inch diameter hoses, get dragged by your ship into the Arctic Circle behind your ship for about 3 days. And then you bring the hoses back on board and you cut them into 1.5-foot lengths. And that's the gauntlet. You have to go between everybody who's got a length of hose, and your naked bare ass is exposed to the weather, and you're probably going to get hit in the berries as that hose wraps around your tender ass cheeks.
What are berries?
Balls.
Huh?
The balls.
Oh, I thought you meant like pieces of ice.
No. You have this frozen hose that's getting paddled on your ass by grown men between 120 and 200.
I thought you were getting pulled behind a ship.
No. They stream the hoses behind the ship for a day or two to get them nice
really
and
cold.
salty. And that's one of the things they do. The shellback operation is a little bit, what's been released to the public is a little bit more berries. Yeah, you twig and berries is a man's junk. You didn't. Okay. Janet, I forgot. Janet she's new to this.
Well, no, I have guy friends, but it's just funny that I'm still learning different names for things, for body parts. It just doesn't seem possible.
We have 50 names for the junk, honey. Okay,
because I mean, like watching this movie when the certain part when they talked about you're 21 years old and you're about to graduate, that that one scene, and I'm thinking the whole time that these guys look older but they act like they're 13 or something. I mean, I was married at 19 before I was 19 years old. So
you also married a Navy guy.
I had to be an adult. I had to act, had a job, and I cooked and I cleaned the house and I ironed clothes and I did things like that. So I just see guys acting like, 13-year-olds. It was really hard for me to try to picture real people in a college situation. I just don't know how some of these people didn't die. I mean, I had a couple of friends that drank so much alcohol they had to go to the hospital and had their stomach pumped, and they had to drink a bunch of charcoal stuff. But I just didn't think people really did that in big colleges and things. It was just really hard for me to absorb that stuff. I mean, I had jobs and I've worked in different industries and things, but I never looked at this kind of
behavior.
Yeah, I could understand it in the military because my dad was Air Force, and they did different things where they took the brand new recruits out for like a week, and they take them out in helicopters for jungle survival, and they just drop them out somewhere. Okay, and they had like GPS things on them, so they knew where they were, and if they stayed too long in one area, they would send people out to check on them to see if they were hurt or something like that. But you know, that's a life and death scenarios where you're being trained to be able to defend yourself or take care of yourself or defend others. But just to, I don't know. I don't know. I'll stop being so serious. But I really had a hard time trying to understand that concept of behind it. It's funny.
This movie doesn't take a lot of things seriously.
It doesn't.
Shadow and Son says, I haven't seen this movie since it came out. I could believe that. Knowing you and knowing your disdain for certain people in Hollywood, I could believe that. I don't believe that Landis is part of the problem. I really don't. I think Landis is actually one of the better guys in Hollywood. I might be really wrong on this, but I don't think he was involved as much as everybody else wants to think that everybody's involved there. It's not Hollywood. Of course they're involved. Well, no, not everybody. Because Landis was doing things on the set of this movie that makes me think that he was being about as moral as you could get, knowing what could happen. And I'm going to reference the fact that this is the second movie in our John Landis series, which we're unofficially on, probably in tonight. Last week we talked about the movie The Blues Brothers, which is another John Belushi film. But John Belushi can't go anywhere while he's alive, because when he's out places, people just hand him a vial or they hand him a bump. Here, have this. So they started putting Carrie Fisher, who they thought was nice and pure. They put Carrie Fisher and him together, go around Chicago when he had to move around. Yeah, Six Nations, I get that. Carrie Fisher was walking around with John Belushi on his outings in Chicago, and no matter where they went, she was always amazed that people were handing John Belushi drugs. Like, oh, here you are. And he'd go back to the set with a handful of bumps or whatever. And so what John Landis did for this movie, and this was before the Blues Brothers, he realized that John had a new wife, and so they were staying off from where everyone else was. The other members of Delta, mainly Bruce McGill, one of my favorite character actors of all time, he plays D-Day in this movie. His dorm room was a party hall anytime the set was vacant. And then when his hotel room wasn't being used, it was because him and other members of the Omega staff, not Omega, the Delta guys and him were out partying because they got invited out to a college frat party by a bunch of University of Oregon girls. And that caused a huge fight. And John Landis and Bruce McGill got their asses handed to them in the middle of this film, in the middle of filming. So they didn't have Bruce on set for a few days, not on camera at least. And the entire time all this is going on, John Belushi has got his new wife and him in a nice little happy hideaway hotel, and they have no idea what's going on. Now, Vic Morrow might disagree with that, Six Nations, but I haven't studied the events of the Twilight Zone yet. I just know what everybody else knows, where there was a helicopter accident, Vic Morrow and 2 kids died. And that's all I know. Once I deep dive that, I'll be able to give a little bit more. I do know that they didn't find John Landis guilty which I don't know if that was the right call or not, which is why I'm saying we will be dissecting the Twilight Zone movie after our anniversary episode.
Mm-hmm.
Kronos, no, I know everything about nothing, and then I have to study for days like today. Anyway, so this movie starts off, and you're meeting the members of Delta fraternity, and then you meet Mr. Dean Vernon Warmer, who is the dean of this university.
He looked very familiar from something
everything.
else. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything since this movie.
Did you ever watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah, I saw that, but I don't remember him
He was
being
the
in it.
sheriff.
Oh, but
And
he looked familiar.
there's other movies
There was a
in there.
bunch of familiar people. I was really surprised how many people were in this movie that were young. I mean, they looked like the two leads, the chubby guy and the young guy that played the nerd.
Flounder or
Yeah.
Otter?
Potter or whatever that finally got laid.
By the 13-year-old girl on the football field?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, there's some really bad stuff was in this movie that would not be PC today, but it was funny. But they were so young. I couldn't believe, because I was looking up some of them, especially the one guy that I thought looked like Milo, the leader of the ROTC guy with the white horse. He looked like Milo Yiannopoulos. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, you thought it was Milo Yiannopoulos or what?
Yeah, Yiannopoulos. It looked a lot like him. I was like, gosh, this could be his dad or his grandpa. I mean, and then when it opened up and you saw this, and the terrible suit pants and the plaid, and then it said 1962. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. And I adored the hairstyles on all the girls and stuff. I was like, oh, it's so cool. It reminded me so much of my grandmother, in the styles and stuff that my grandmother and my aunts and stuff used to wear. It was just really cool, and all the pictures and everything in the photo albums, I thought that was really really cool. So it was very nostalgic, and it's shocking to me that this is the kind of stuff that would go on a college campus in 1960s or whatever it was. But it was funny.
Well, we get a chance to meet everybody, and I was a big fan of Tom Hulce, who played Larry Kroger. Stephen First, who was Kent Dorfman, who later gets called Flounder. Mark Metcalf played Doug Niedermeyer. Then the two girls, Mary Louise Weller was Mandy Pepperidge, but Martha Smith as Babs Jansen. Oh my God, yes. She was fun to watch. She's still a fun lady to watch. She's like perfect breeding. Yes. Sorry.
Hey, I heard that.
She is. Martha Smith is perfect breeding, hon.
Which one was she? Which one of the preppy girls was it?
I'll boot this up for you here in just a second.
Was it the really pretty blonde or the okay blonde?
The really pretty blonde.
Oh yeah, she was really, really pretty.
Yeah.
The ex-girlfriend of one of the guys from the Delta House.
Yes.
Yeah, she was beautiful. And I love their clothes. I love watching anything that has wardrobe like that, like, American Horror Story or any of those things where they do the themed shows where they try to be very authentic. And I just thought they did a really good job when it came to the women's clothing and the hairstyles.
The clothing and the hairstyles were great in this movie. But the music is a straight man throughout the entire film. We're talking about the movie Animal House from 1978. That the music plays a straight man throughout the entire movie. It's the music to Zero Hour, basically. I don't know if you ever saw Zero Hour. Have you seen Zero Hour, Janet? Okay. Before we watch Airplane from 1980, we'll have to watch Zero Hour. because 0 Hour is what Airplane was spoofing pretty much throughout the entire movie. But the score to this movie is perfect, and
Yeah,
it
it has really good music in it.
yes,
Definitely, especially when the band was singing. Both times the band sang, I was like, "Oh my god, it's fun."
there were some other activities in this movie that like there's parts of this movie that just when they come together and you start doing the research on this film, you have like a love affair with it. And so that kind of happened with me this weekend, aside from an 8.5 hour stretch of gaming that I ran for you and your friends. And I was delving into Animal House and enjoying the hell out of it because it was just so much fun.
Mhm.
Also had a chance to watch the Double Secret Probation Edition DVD. Karen Allen does a nude scene in this, or not nude, but she shows her butt in this movie.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, I'm not a pervert, guys, but it's Karen Allen.
Was she the one in Raiders?
Yes.
Okay, I kept saying she looks like the woman from Raiders, but I didn't look it up, but I should have, because I'm sorry, I was doing laundry and a whole bunch of other stuff while I was trying to, and I was writing notes and stuff. But yeah, she was so pretty, her big, beautiful eyes and all her little freckles. She was adorable and so young. I mean, she looked maybe 20. I mean, how old was she in this movie when she made it?
I'll find that out for you here in just.
Because it was in the 70s.
In 1978, she was 19 when she filmed this movie.
See, I was married. I was married when I was married at 18. So
okay,
she was young.
She plays this character in this movie, and like you kind of crush on her. Like as a guy, I'm just going to say that like I can understand where she might use that mallet on her boyfriend. Like, I don't want you to go to the toga party. Oh, okay.
Well, the thing is, she played a very grounded character, and she enjoyed the camaraderie of the guys. And that's a lot like I feel like I was back then. I was, focused on, a job and wanting to be successful. And I wasn't in college, but I just, I had a lot of guy friends that were goofy and do dumb stuff. But then I had other guys that were really smart, the nerdy ones. And then, so I fit in on both sides. So I was able to, basically go back and forth between the groups of guys because, I was, I guess, not so prim and proper like some of the girls. I was like, a couple of the girls, I was going, oh, I hated girls like that in high school. They're such snobs.
I'm trying not to laugh. I know what you're saying.
What?
I know what you're saying because like I hated the scene girls. I hated the mentality between the classes, between the jocks and the nerds and all that crap. Mm-hmm. And that was my major hang up in high school. I mean, we only had a 90-person graduating class, and we had divisions from geeks and nerds. Really? That was a problem. Yeah, Janet is not a snob. Karen Allen plays Katie in this movie, and she completely sells it as a woman who is out of her depth, and she's kind of crushing on her teacher. And later you find out he's slipping her the hot dog. Donald Sutherland's ass is in this movie as well. For all you ladies that want to know,
how old was Donald Sutherland in this movie? He looked very young in this.
He was only like 30 in this film. He was super young in this movie.
You know what, though? I'm going to tell you what I thought at first when Donald Sutherland went to her apartment and they were going to smoke pot, and they were all sitting around the little coffee table and stuff. And the way Donald Sutherland was talking to the young man that was sitting next to him, I thought maybe he was interested in him.
Yeah, there's kind of like the gay like romance thing going
Well,
on.
it wasn't
They're
really
trying to
that.
talk
It was
about
like the teacher sharing drugs, that he probably would have had sex with the girl or him, like he was bisexual because he was just a young professor that was willing to just jump whatever was available.
I
At
mean,
least
he was,
that's how I looked at it.
and I think you're right because he was only teaching Milton because the fucking syllabus said to.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody here has read Paradise Lost, but it's not a fun read. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's something they kind of covered. That's how they introduce him. He's the teacher that he takes a bite out of the apple while discussing Paradise Lost, and none of the students get it. And he's like, maybe I'm a little bit too advanced for this. Let me try something else. And then whenever he tries pot, that's what gets Katie to come over, and it's not long after that she's kind of naked.
Well, it's the fact too that she looked like, or it seemed like she was above the guys' pay grade, basically, when it came to mental stuff. So she was at a higher level of thought than the party guys that are drinking and wanting to be stupid, putting underwear in trees and whatever else, like the dean was talking about, the putting fizzies in the pool, and then having the taking cadavers to the alumni dinner, just stuff like that. That was, is childish. And she seemed like she was already ready for a career and things like that. So when she met this handsome professor that showed interest in her, I could see why she would maybe want to take a dip. I mean, you're human.
Yeah, I can see that, but I gotta ask, Janet, have you ever seen the movie Caveman with Ringo Starr and Dennis
I
Quaid?
love that movie. Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you did or not.
It had Dennis Quaid too, right?
Yeah.
And Barbara Bach, and that's when he married her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering because I was
my dad is the one that got us to watch it. He thought it was so funny, and he laughed and laughed through that whole movie. He thought it was so funny, especially the sound effects and the dumbness of it, like when they're doing the egg and they're going up down the valley wall, like stuff like that. My dad just thought that was a hoot.
The egg, the lizard effects in that movie. We'll talk about that movie in about a month.
We'll have to do a bad movie once in a while, and that was fun. No, I mean a B-rate. That's what I mean.
But that's not that's like a classic.
I think it's a classic too, but to other people, if you were to show that to other people, they would think it was a B movie. So
I've got a B movie on the way. I've already shown you the B movie I'm going to order, just so I can.
Yeah. We can't do that one. We'd have to do that on a private review in Discord or something.
We'll have to do that on Rumble.
Or a Rumble, something where I don't know. I don't know what kind of what will happen to your channel.
It wouldn't survive YouTube if I just said the name of the movie. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But now this movie has so many neat little cuts in it, but it's not really a movie that you watch. This isn't like Die Hard or A Christmas Story, which has a beginning, middle, end that you're just wrap up with a little bow and it's great. This is more of a movie that like it's an incidental watch. Like you're going through the channels and you discover it's on. It's like, oh, this is on, and you watch it there, but you don't get upset because like, oh, I missed the first 10 minutes. That's the most important part. It's not that. This movie is definitely not that. This movie is great, but it's an incidental watching film because it's probably the most entertaining thing on the television set right now or on the internet. And you learn that Dean Wormer's got a hard-on to get rid of the Delta guys. He's recruiting the help of the Omega fraternity to get rid of them. The Omega boys are gleefully helping, and
Because
it's gonna,
he says to get somebody to help, you know, find some dirt on these people in the Delta
yeah,
group, and he said, he's a you're almost as big a brown noser or whatever as him." So that's why he was using this guy, you know, because they were like brown nosers. They were lap dogs, you know, they would bend over and do whatever they're told. So that was like a diss, and he just stood there and kind of like looked at him like. I just thought it was funny. I thought that whole scene was funny. It was so degrading to him, the way that he talked to him and stuff. And when the dean was talking to the gentleman, the Italian gentleman, like the mafia guy.
he was just the mayor.
Oh, okay, but he was like in the mob or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Mobbish or whatever. But when he was talking to him, he degraded the dean the same way the dean.
Yeah.
Around her. So I just thought it was funny because that a lot of that is so realistic, because that's what happens every day when you go to work, you know, and the guy leaves and you just go, you just want to, you know, that kind of stuff behind their back because you're just sick of these people, but you can't quit because you need to pay your bills. So that whole thing was, I thought it was really funny. I mean, it drew me right into the reality of a lot of that, even though it was a comedy. So much of that, you know, ass kissing and butt licking and, you know, cheek patting or goes on.
Where I'm from, we call that wearing the brown lipstick.
Oh, yeah, that too. Brown nose. So yeah, that was funny. But I just thought it was great. I mean, all the characters did such a good job at being believable for the minor characters to work together as young men in a frat. From little bits of here and there, the movies that I've seen about it. So I thought it was really funny, the whole thing, especially when you go from a really fancy house and you walk down and it ends up being like a haunted house. It was dilapidated, just falling apart. You know, it was dingy and cramped in. But I love the fish, the mermaid with the boobs with fish tanks in them. I love that. I would love to be able to find that and have it for myself. I saw some really cool stuff in that house. I was like, oh my God, I wish I had half the stuff. I would buy it online if I could. It was the coolest place. They had such neat stuff. Sorry.
All right, chat, you have your homework assignment. Post links in Janet's Discord if you find the props or items like the props in Animal House, because Janet would go for it.
Mm-hmm.
She would be happy to have the mermaid and the other numerous items that are amazing for those of you.
You guys, I know you guys had to have really liked it. I mean, it just was so entertaining, and I'm so eclectic. You know, I just don't have a lot of stuff that matches. You know, it's like all my frames, different sizes and different colors and all that. It has nothing to do with you know, having a theme or whatever. Mine's like geek theme. That's my theme. I just have lots of things that I like, and all different colors, sizes, and shapes around me, and I like that.
Fair enough. Six Nations says it's like most college rentals. It's dingy, dirty, but you got cool stuff and parties and toga.
Do you remember what kind of beer they were drinking in the movie?
I'm going to go search Google for that real quick, because
I just remember lots of Jack Daniels in bottles, so they must have had like a little bit of money invested into the movie. I don't remember if it was Bud or not. If it was Budweiser, I don't think it was. I thought it was something else, but I thought that'd be interesting to find out, because they did consume large quantities of alcohol in this movie.
Okay, they're calling it. Oh, damn it! Never mind. I found the whiskey is called Rock and Rye.
Mm-hmm.
Lamplighter Brewing Company. Interesting.
See, I didn't get to go to any frat parties or anything like that.
It's okay.
I went to a couple parties at the lake because it was rural. We lived in a very rural area. So I had a horse. And, you know, I've talked about that. And I rode barrel racing and things like that. I hung out with a lot of goat ropers, which I swore I would never marry a goat roper, which I did not because I moved away. But it was, I never had the opportunity to do anything like that. The closest I came to any of this type of stuff was once I got married. I married a Navy man, and Navy parties where people were watching the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So that was my introduction to drinking and dirty language.
I'm not able to find what beer they were drinking, but there's an Animal House Brewing Company or Lamplighter Brewing Company makes an Animal House beer, which it doesn't look like it's.
What was the name of the company again?
Lamplighter.
I never heard of it.
Neither have I. But
so it's not real.
That's the one thing I like. When you start looking for these things, you bump into the article where like, oh yeah, Bruce McGill's room is down here and he's drinking and having parties every day. Mark Metcalf, who is the Delta's antagonist, Niedermeyer, he's upstairs from Bruce's room. And so like he's just getting deeper into character, polishing the helmet, getting his shoes ready for the next day for shooting, and they didn't associate with each other. The Omegas and Deltas did not hang out during filming, just so that they had authentic antagonism towards each other.
Yeah, so they didn't smile inappropriately or things like that. And it was a beautiful horse that they used in
white horse that had the heart attack.
No pity, except that when it was Dad, later when they did the prank, and then they got the gun and they said to go and shoot it. I was like, this movie could never be made. There were so many politically unenabling things in this movie for today that would never be remade. I
will tell you that the lady that I crush on in this movie, she's kind of featured in this movie and in the end of Blues Brothers. When you watch all of the credits at the very end, it says, "Please tour Universal Studios. Ask for Babs." Because at the end of this movie, she goes and gets a job. According to the afterward, as it's going through all the characters, it shows her, and it's like she is an associate, a host over at Universal Studios. She's the one that leads you around. Tour guide. My bad.
Someone's asking a question. It says, "Have you ever been to a barter fair?" You mean, is that where you dress up in characters and stuff? I've been to a couple of those Renaissance fairs, but what's a barter fair?
All right, guys, we have another request for Janet's calendar. Janet's calendar is the Renaissance fair garb for May.
I don't see what are you talking about?
No. I just received a private message. Somebody wanted me to. Like, wait, she does Renaissance fairs?
Yes, I've been. I wore a costume. Remember the first day I played Pathfinder. I wore one of my Renaissance outfits, and I love it. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I just love dressing up, and stuff like that. I went and got SpongeBob SquarePants. Twin sheet and made me a toga, and then I made me a little headdress for it so that I have a matching outfit. I didn't realize it was going to be set in 1970 whatever it was.
This year was set in 62.
So they didn't have SpongeBob back then, but I didn't know that. I just wanted to make a toga, and I wanted it to be like, I wanted one that had like planets on it, but I couldn't find anything at all with planets to have my own toga. But oh well.
Crafting Gamer, what is a barter fair? Because I'm thinking about that, and that sounds like a flea market gone wild. Six Nation 31 Kings commented while I was looking for the beer. He's like, it sure as hell wasn't Boone's Strawberry Hill and Mad Dog 2020. Yeah, that would be the easy way to go. But
I remember going to a convention in Vegas, and people had Mad Dog 2020 on dog leashes and were dragging it behind them. You know, down the hallways from one room to the other. So I remember that, but I never drank any because everybody said, "Oh, you'll throw up." So I'm glad I didn't.
It is a beer that you must elect to swallow.
It's beer.
It's a malt liquor.
Okay, because it looked like it was in a glass bottle, almost like whiskey or something, or tequila. I was like, no thanks. I was a wuss. I'm sorry. I drank wine and vodka and peach schnapps and things like that. I still like all that. I like mimosas.
Okay.
I don't like.
We got a response from Crafting Gamer. It says, Janet, a barter fair is an illegal fair where you literally find about anything. It's kind of a joke to test your innocence, but you definitely pass.
Oh,
he was asking about something like, how much of a noob are you to the wild world of the interwebs and commerce? And apparently Janet's never been on the Silk Road before.
A barter. I thought bartering meant like you trade things. I'll say I have these eggs, and I'll trade you these eggs for that big chunk of turkey legs or whatever. That kind of thing. I thought that's what it would mean, but so
that sounds more like a flea market.
So what he's saying is he made that up.
It's not made up. A barter fair is kind of like when you have a meet or a moot between different parties, and they're doing things that are illicit.
Oh.
They're trading things that you probably shouldn't advertise.
Oh, so alcohol and guns.
Things without tax stamps.
Oh, okay. I guess.
That's what I'm referring to, because that's the nicest way for me to say that. Can't put a tax stamp on a woman and a girl from Lithuania. Oh wait, did I say that loud? I'm sorry.
Six Nation said that's supposed to stay in Vegas, but I didn't do anything wrong. I thought only stuff in Vegas is supposed to be illegal stuff that you're not supposed to talk about, like jaywalking or getting arrested for prostitution or something.
Or sending your friend who's freshly divorced to the bunny ranch with $300.
Is that not enough money?
I don't know how much it costs to go to the bunny ranch. I know when I had my best friend in town 9 years ago, I bought him a girl that was she came into the hotel we were staying at, because I figured out the hotel we were at was not a good hotel, because there was a bunch of really nice sports cars of Italian and German models being parked by the valets, and these older guys, about 65 to 80, were being walked in the front door, and they would wait for a really hot girl to get off of an Uber, and then they would go up the stairs. And then about a half hour to 2 hours later, they come back down, and the old man looks generally relieved, and the young girl looks like she's ready to go do that about 7 or 8 more times. And so I stopped one of the girls and I said, "Hey, I got to ask, are you in business?" And she's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Great." And I've never bought a hooker before on this point, but here I am, and my best friend's sitting down at the bar, don't know what the fuck I'm doing. He just sees me talking to this chick that he thought he saw going inside with an older guy earlier. And Chuck's there as I walk this girl over to him, and I'm like, "Chuck, this is your divorce present. Have fun. And make sure he's got keys, make sure he's got breath mints, and Don't worry about what happens. Go ruin the sheets.
Well, I want to ask the question now that you brought this up, to all the guys in or women, if there's some women in the chat, if they've ever paid for it to have sex, and whether it was is paying for it better than having sex with someone you didn't pay for? I mean,
I can talk about this pretty freely because I was a sailor overseas, and I've got to say,
having a pro that performs on it, are they better at it? Is what I guess that's basically what I'm.
You go to a pro because you've got like a hard on, and if you don't have it now, you're going to have it later. So get rid of it now. Get all of the kids off the plane now, so you can go and be a normal human being. It's just like.
But so it's not really that they're a pro. They're not like a pro at doing a certain act. They're just a pro because you're taking classes.
I didn't care if they were professional or if they were freshly 18. I didn't care. I was 20 and I just needed a hamburger because I was hungry.
Yeah.
I just feed me the damned hamburger, and that way I can go out and I'm not gonna like be buying everything I want. Oh look, I have $400. Oh look, I have $40. Oh look, I have $3. I just let me get rid of this 50 spot so I can be a human being later, and I can actually talk to somebody. And then when I get back on ship, I'm not tempted to like be lonely and call my parents and cry to them on the phone drunk off my ass.
Yeah.
Because that is a big, like back in the 90s, that was a big way for you to lose money, was just to call back home over in Europe. Flatey says we should follow this movie up with all the great party movies like Can't Hardly Wait, Dazed and Confused, Stoned Age. Stoned Age is good. New Century Theater in San Fran. You could blow $200 in 15 minutes. I believe that. Peppermint Schnapps instead of Boone's Farm for Six Nations, 31 Kings.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Dazed and Confused or that's the Stone Age. Is that
Stone Age?
I haven't seen that.
We'll put them at the end of season 2. At the end of year 2, we'll put those together because those are movies that I don't know if we could actually talk about those for 2 hours or 3 hours. They're good movies, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to we'll have to float test that one. Janet, on your end, you can read the chat, right?
Yeah, so I said I'm trying to read it without acting like I'm really reading because I have to focus to read. Some of them are pretty long. Someone said, I never paid for sex, got dragged to a strip club after a bad breakup at 21 and no sleep for 3 days. Kind of funny situation now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I was asking was, if you're not paying for a pro, that's what I didn't understand when people say they're going to get a pro. I thought they meant they want a pro that's good at hand job or a pro that's good at deep throat, or you know what I mean.
I guess I've always had low tier expectations because I always get low tier, but
I mean, because if I was going to pay for it, I would want to make sure I'm paying for somebody that's going to make sure they give me exactly what I want. That I need some release, and it's I want to make sure I get my release and not have to worry about making him happy and just make me happy. You know what I mean?
That puts together some interesting questions because now I'm starting to think of my life choices, and I'm like, I didn't care if she was a pro or not. All I cared about is, do I have enough of a masthead? Do I have enough of an erection to blow my load? That's all I care about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, is a professional better than just going to the bar and trying to, see if you can strike it for free?
I'll say this.
I don't know. I don't know how to ask.
Married man. If I was single, I would rather pay for pussy. I would rather pay for sex, because if you're paying for sex, the camp fare is part of the transaction where you push them away and be like, go, get out. You're done. Thanks.
Well, at least you can get them to leave. That's
Yes,
something.
right there. That's it. That's it. That's the thing. You're not paying to keep them. You're paying them to get the release and then to go away. So you don't feel whatever you might be feeling. Like you just like, I don't have to worry about an awkward boner.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a young kid, it seems like all boners are awkward. I had a boner during my
so I never had to worry about it, I guess.
Janet, when women get aroused, the little clam will get a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the same thing for women as it is for guys. I mean, we can't stop thinking about it. I mean, once we get to that moment until we take care of it, just like you guys. But the thing is, I've never come across where I felt like I was going to have to go pay somebody for it. I mean,
women typically, you have the better options
like
for saying
that song
no.
by Dr. Hook, girls can get it.
Women don't have to do stupid things to get laid. Women do things to get laid, like, I'm lonely. And then all of a sudden, like, the DMs will blow up. Or, like, she goes into a bar alone, dressed provocatively.
Yeah, but I did that one time. Two of my sisters went to Dallas for a trip, and we dressed up really fancy to go out to a dance club or whatever. And we went in, and I was wearing a short skirt and boots, but I didn't think I was trampy looking. And we sat at this table where there were really tall chairs on them. And some guy walked up, and he was nice looking, and he had like leather shoes. I mean, he looked like he had money, but he came up to me and he had a wad of money, and he tried to put it up my skirt. And I looked at him, and I was like, what? I'm not a prostitute. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to leave because I felt very, trampy. If I look like a prostitute, I want to go home. Because my sister had fixed my hair, one of them that was a beautician, and picked out my outfit, and I thought I looked really good, but I didn't want to look like a prostitute. So it wasn't as much fun as I thought it was. I have someone think I was a cheap date or expensive date or whatever you want to call it. So so I guess it can be. It's not the same thing if a guy whistles at you while you're walking by, but then another guy tries to stick a wad of money up your skirt. To me, that's two different
levels.
Yeah, two different levels. I'd rather have the guy whistle at me. But it was embarrassing, So I don't know how some women can do it. I mean, I think it's great if they can do that and not think twice about it. But I guess because of my upbringing, I'm just not one of those. If I was desperate, I guess I could maybe do something for money, but I would clean houses. I'd clean people's toilets before I would sell my body, at all. So I guess I'm just one of them people. I did the chicken plant, which I have. So
this is something I found to be true. Women pretty much control the valve to constant or at least occasional sex. Men have the control valve to access to a happier life and potential like legacy or family, at the very least. And that's kind of where the two halves come together. I've noticed that.
Well, I didn't know we were going to start talking about sex, but see, I could do a whole show about things like this, and not, because to me, I have lots of questions. And, if I have answers, I would be happy to answer them. But like, as people have been married for a while, the things that I've heard is that a lot of them, the wives seem to get more amorous and the husbands go downhill. So, it's better to marry an older woman because the older woman's going to want it when the older man is not, or is not able, or whatever that is. There's
a reason why marrying a cougar is a thing. that's the reason why young men go for older women. That's probably why when you go to your gymnasium, that's probably why when you go to your gymnasium, you've got that 30-year-old guy that's wanting to talk to you, but he doesn't because you're filming or you're doing something. It's like
working out.
yeah.
But that's what I said. There's tons of young women at the gym, and they're wearing their little thong on the outside of their spandex pants, and their hair is perfect, and their makeup's all done. And I go in jogging pants and a sweatshirt. My hair is in a messy bun, and I'm going there to sweat for 2.5 hours, and then go home, take a shower. So there's plenty of hot toddies running around for the guys if they're interested.
Most guys want an older woman. Nobody wants to train something new because sometimes the training never ends and you never get out of training day.
Well, that's because you're older. That's why you're thinking that. But if you're 20 and some girl walks by and your tongue's hanging out, then they're not looking for an older woman. They're just looking for boobs and butt.
Yeah. This movie here kind of gets into the weeds with men and women's relationships just a barely little bit, but then it goes back and it focuses more on the events at the school where you have Dean Warmer being able to put together a kangaroo court, and he's able to actually bring Delta House in for a hearing. What did you think of that when Kroger tried defending Delta House, Janet?
I thought that scene was really good. Do they really do that type of procedures in colleges? See, that's why I watch it. Maybe that's why I didn't ever go see it, is because I'm not really smart. I didn't go to college. I didn't ever get to go and interact like that. So to me, I just really didn't understand a lot of how they were doing it, why people were doing some of the things they did. Now I could understand the concept of this, the dean wanting them out because it made his college campus look bad, having these degenerates running around, and they weren't, their scores were bad. So, and I know that schools are rated on how well the students perform and things like that. So I could kind of understand and sympathize with the dean wanting these degenerates off his property. So maybe that, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was funny as heck. I laughed because a lot of the guy friends that I have would do some of that dumb shit, drink. And the funny things that they came up with, like when they had the toga party and Belushi came down the stairs and the guy was singing. And why did the guy look familiar to me? He looked like what was
the guitarist?
Yeah, he looked like the guy that sang the spoof song. So Michael Jackson,
It was not Weird Al.
Oh, and that's what he looked like to me. So I had a hard time. I just know he looked familiar, but he's singing and doing all, and the girls are like little flower childs, just sitting around him. John Belushi stops and you see his face change. And he goes.
There's a girl behind John Belushi when he grabs the guitar, and he destroys the guitar. He just destroys it. That was I believe that's an improv scene.
And it looked like a real guitar, not a paper one. Or
it was a real guitar. It was most definitely a real guitar. But John Belushi did a wonderful thing. And there's a few parts in this movie where, like, at this point, they pretty much just like put John Belushi on the stairs, and the guy was singing the guitar, singing and playing guitar, and all those girls gathered around him. The lady that's the furthest up the stairs, trying not to laugh her ass off, she's John Belushi's wife, and she had a small
see, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I would really like to see her in this movie. You showed me a couple pictures of her, but I wasn't looking for her in the movie because I didn't know that she was in it. To try to look for her.
She's in this movie, in this very small scene, and it's pretty good. But she's trying not to laugh her ass off, and she's not doing a very good job because her husband just completely sold the scene of being a complete and total asshole. Mute. Yes, that's our friend. Okay.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I love this scene. And his expressions, like this was John Landis's favorite actor of all time. And just you just look at how
He was so expressive, you know, and he didn't have lots of lines in this movie, but his expression he's so good with just his mannerisms and expresses himself through his facial features. He's just a comedic genius, you know, like on Saturday Night Live when he was the Samurai Tailor, you know, and stuff. He didn't even speak, you know, he just acted, and he was awesome.
That's John Belushi's wife right there.
Okay.
And she's trying not to laugh. She gets.
Well, it was a funny scene.
This
I
guy right
made her laugh all the time.
These people weren't expecting the guitar to get destroyed. They were not. This was not something they were thinking that was going to happen.
Well, they all reacted like they didn't know that was going to happen. So I thought that was really good.
Also, the guy that was playing the guitar, that was Karen Allen's hot dog vendor for a couple of years.
What do you mean? Oh, her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the one supplying her with the meat.
I was thinking you were really talking about him having a little card out in front of her apartment.
No, not that cheesy. But he was the guy that was initially like going out with her. After this film was done filming, she was no longer in wait. She was a very happy person with him for a few years at least. And that scene right there completely encompasses everything that happened on the set of this movie, because they had a script for the majority of players in this movie. But when John Belushi was around, they didn't really have a script. They had an idea of what they could do, and John Landis and him would talk, but there wasn't a script. And so they just would put him on set, and then Landis would go to the director of photography, and he's like, keep the fucking camera centered on Belushi. That's all I want you to do.
Yeah, because he was a comic genius. He really was.
The food fight scene in this movie is all improv, except for John Belushi screaming "food fight" center screen.
Yeah.
Everything else in that entire portion was improv. That's just the level of acting talent they had, and they could do with John Belushi.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, Stephen Bishop was named the guitarist for that scene. Thank you, Six Nation 31 Kings. John Belushi played Joe Cocker on Saturday Night Live, and you actually you thought that they had just traded places because Belushi acted like Joe Cocker so fucking well. Then there's the scene where Mrs. Dean Wormer is solicited to hang out with the Delta House.
Yeah, the grocery store scene I thought was really adorable. And then later, when she does show up at the toga party, and he gets her to go back there with him and strip down to her beautiful skivvies, you know, her little silk hose and the garters and everything. I thought that was so romantic. she looked, the actress that played the part looked like she was dying to have some romance,
Yeah.
a little spark of lust, that she's been lacking for a while. And that was the perfect scene between a cougar and a young man. And a lot of people would gripe about that because they'd say, oh, that's just terrible. It's okay it's people bitch when an old man sleeps with a young woman. But see, the thing is, I don't care if it's an old man and a young woman as long as she's a consenting age. I had more problem with the scene with the young college guy that was at least 18 or 19 sleeping with a 13-year-old girl.
Okay.
See, I had more problem with that than I did with this guy getting it on with an older woman, because he definitely looked old enough to make that decision for himself. The 13-year-old girl really was too stupid to make good decisions.
Yeah,
and crappy parents that didn't hear her getting her window bashed out and her just going downstairs. I don't know. My dad must have had radar or something, because I mean, if anybody knocked on my window within a few minutes, he would be at my door, or my mom saying, "What's going on in here?" So, I don't know. I thought that was kind of lame, but that would never fly for today. I don't think that whole setup. Because when the scene was, when she said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm only 13," I thought he was going to get up and leave. That's what I would have thought he would have done, but he didn't. Did I scare you off?
No, you've made me go searching for something, because this I remember this trailer when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I was 3 when this all happened, or when this was displayed. And the main thing I wanted to see this movie for was not that, although that was funny.
Oh, that was a funny scene. The one with the devil on one side and the angel on the other.
Yes.
Because I don't know how many times I'd have a girlfriend tell me, "I don't know what happened last night. I passed out." Okay, and that's exactly what happened in that scene. Is that she's all raring to go, and he's got his hands up her shirt.
Yes.
Toilet paper out. I thought I was gonna die, because I don't know how many of my friends did that. Put toilet paper in their shirt.
I've pulled a handful of Charmin out of a bra before.
I never stuffed my shirt, but I was flat, and the guys made fun of me. I mean, lots of guys made fun of me. They called me Dolly Niblets and Dolly Nubbins, Flat Plains of America. I mean, I had everything there was, because I had a sister that was right above me by a year and a half, and one below me. All right, wait, above me was like 3 or 4 years, and then the one below me was a year and a half younger. And both of them were built like brick houses. They were like hourglass, Mae West built, and blonde hair. And here I was a Christy McNichol looking girl, tomboy that was flat as a board. Well, I had an A cup. That's what I was wearing, an A cup, I guess, when I was in high school. So, it sucked, so I was a tomboy because I looked like a boy. Well, I looked like a girl, but I was not built like my sisters. So, I can understand, girls that would stuff, but I didn't, I just wasn't interested. And that's why my mom thought maybe I was playing on the wrong side of the fence for a while there, but I'm not, I never did. But it's just that I didn't want to end up with anyone from around there. I just didn't want to marry another hillbilly and have 5 kids and, do nothing with my life, not travel or see anything or anything like that. And I just didn't want to end up with a Okie from Muskogee. That's what we always called it. But
I really enjoyed growing up where I grew up, but I didn't want to marry anybody from my hometown. I really didn't, no matter what I might have thought whenever we had middle school dance going on, I wasn't interested in turning into like the guy that lived down the block from us, and he married his high school, middle school sweetheart, and his entire life was just a Monday through Friday, seeing the same people he grew up with, Monday through Friday, seeing all that. Then Sunday, going to church with the same people, because you didn't need a car where we lived for his life, because he just walked into his garage and drove the tractor out and drove the tractor around the field and then did farmer things. And he was one of the first people to adopt a modem and a computer. And he was the guy that was trading grain and such online while the rest of us were schlups in the 90s. This guy was making money. But his life, like when he divorced his wife, the thing he told me was, he's like, I've been miserable for many years and I'm going to go explore. And I haven't seen him since. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I bet you he's dead. You know, he probably discovered fun and he had a heart attack like that horse.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not trying to be a bummer, guys, but this movie is just, it's full of things that you're like, oh, I remember that. You know, I mean, how many times did you guys know Flounder when you were growing up? Because I knew people like this in the movie in my own life.
Oh, I know lots of people like that. I went to high school with guys like that.
The first draft was supposed to be about a high school, by the way.
Well, the nerdy guy that ends up with the girl, you don't really get to delve too much in his in his persona. You just don't get to find out that much about him. You got to find out more about the chubby guy than you did the skinnier nerdy kid. And when he shows up at the party with this really good looking little blonde, everybody's like, wow, he's got a girl. They're all surprised, and she's adorable. She's just a little adorable thing. And it was impressive to the other people, but you got to see that he had a life before he went to college. See, that thing that I thought was really cute about some of them is that, just like the major character with Karen Allen as boyfriend and stuff, you got a little bit more into them in their arrangement. But the fact that he didn't live with her and things like that, I thought was interesting, because, how were they high school sweethearts, and that's how they were, how they met. I mean, they didn't really go into a lot of detail about it, but so I just assumed that's what their relationship was. So they were kind of on and off again type thing. So, but I could be wrong. You have to assume a lot with them, because it's basically, it reminded me a little bit of Major Payne, where Major Payne was trying to get them to become a team by getting rid of him, by trying to do what they had to do to get rid of him. So basically that's what the dean was doing, was not realizing by trying to get rid of them and get them off the campus, it made them more of a team, and they were working together to try to figure out a way that they could stay. You know what I mean? So it brought a couple of them closer together in their relationship. Not in the right way, though. Instead of saying, hey, let's all buckle down and help each other study so we could get good grades and maybe earn our way through. But they didn't. They just had to come up with something worse stuff to do to get even, which was hilarious. Like that whole thing that you're showing. And that whole relationship between him and his girlfriend was just disgusting.
That was terrible. Like, he never once had a hard on, unless
it wasn't that. It was the fact that it was a completely one-sided relationship. I mean, her hand and wrist on her right arm was going to be huge, her bicep and stuff, because she constantly whacking him off and never getting any satisfaction. So I could see why she ran to the other guy, because this guy was a total loser. Did you ever see, there was a movie that came out a long time ago? I can't remember when it came out, but it had a guy, and I think it was Zorro the Gay Blade. And there was a guy in it that played the bad guy, and he would talk about how him and his wife would do something once a year.
Yes.
He was all excited about it because he was talking about it. He goes, "We only have 6 more months to go," or whatever. But the whole thing, it was like that guy. This guy just doesn't have, he wants to own a woman. He wants to be able to tell her what to do and stuff, but he doesn't want to please her when it came to sex because he wasn't interested in sex.
He's big on trying to repeal the women's suffrage.
Yeah, okay, but no, it was just that relationship was sick. I hope I never meet anyone in real life like that couple. I just pray. Thank God I haven't so far, and I knock on wood that I never do. That was a very bizarre relationship. Yeah, I could see that he became a gynecologist because he just loved them women. And he was happy to please them. And that's why they kept coming. You know who he reminded me of? That's what I was going to say. His character reminded me of Face from the A-Team.
Yeah, he reminds me of Dirk Benedict.
No, I mean his character, not who he looked like. The way that Face acted in it, because he was just always handsome and he could always get the women, which any way he wanted or whatever, by no matter what ridiculous thing. But see that whole scene right there? He looked like Milo. Look at him.
Yeah.
He looks like Milo. But that whole thing, him pointing the gun at him like that with a bullet in it, supposedly that was terrible. I just thought all that was terrible. Not terrible that it wasn't funny, but I was just shocked that it was. We went from that movie in what was it, in 1970s?
Yes.
To now, where this whole movie wouldn't even be made. We, instead of progressing in society to where, you could be an adult and make your own decisions about stuff. Basically, this movie proves that we've gone backward. You know what I mean?
This really does.
We really have. I mean, I was just shocked, not because I thought it was outlandish and they should not do it. It's the fact that I knew they could not do it. You see what I mean? Nothing in this movie, I think, shouldn't have been made, because I think a person who writes a movie, if a director wants to film it and people want to pay to have it filmed, they should get it filmed. I don't care if it's porn or whatever, unless it's got children in it or they're really killing, a snuff film, stuff like that. I'm talking about legal adults wanting to do goofy, stupid shit, just like that stupid show, Jackass. Then they should have the right to do it. Just because someone
or Willy's Wonderland.
Oh yeah, or even that movie. Just because I wouldn't want to buy a ticket for it doesn't mean I don't agree that it should be made. I think any of these things should be made if a person is interested in making it. If they want to make it, they should be able to have the right to make it. And then anyone who wants to buy a ticket should be able to go buy a ticket if they're old enough to watch some mature whatever is in it, But I don't know. I just was really saddened by it, and I paused it a lot and we would rewind and go back, and I said they could not do that today. I mean, we have gone back in time, basically, is what I think. The only difference is now it's fake women not being real women, being women in the movie, and stuff like that. That's the only thing different now. You know what I mean? Instead of me being in a movie, they would take somebody and put boobs on them and put them in the place of me because they want to be the woman in it instead of having a real woman. You see, that's the difference that I see as in the future. So it's not, we've gone backward in time, I think, not forward when it comes to, what you're allowed to do anymore. I mean, you think about it. Andrew Dice Clay could not work today.
No, he hasn't. That's the sad thing.
There was a show that I absolutely loved. I never missed an episode. I laughed until I cried. Was Tosh.0. Have you guys ever heard of Tosh.0?
Yeah, it's a good show.
That guy was freaking funny. I don't know how, when I did love him, I'd laugh and I felt guilty laughing, but I still laughed. And the Man Show, remember when that was on TV?
Yeah, it was actually a really
we had
funny
to take a
show.
break. We have women jumping on trampolines, and you'd have, it was so stupid, but it was freaking funny. It was a funny show, and I'm a girl, but I guess because I'm a tomboy, I loved it. I thought it was a fucking funny show. Excuse my language, but I just get so fed up when I see such good stuff. It's such good entertainment that takes you away from the crap that you're dealing with on a daily basis and takes you away from it for just a few hours and lets you be somewhere else and laugh and release those, the pheromones and stuff that you need to release, and the endorphins, and feel good after a movie. And so now they're taking it away. I mean, I was kind of depressed after I watched it, simply for the fact that we've gone back in time and we're not allowed to laugh at any of that anymore. They've taken it away from us completely.
That's the reason why we have this show every Monday night, is so I can point people in directions to where we have fun, and we ignore the people that are part of the agenda, that are part of the DEI crowd, that are part of the ESG bullshit, and we say, fuck you. We don't care about what you want for this new world order. I'm going to reject it, and I'm going to do everything I can to bury you financially, if not physically. And I will do everything I can, because that's what I fucking do. That's what I want. I want a world that can laugh. This is the first time in 2024 will be the first time I can ever remember the conservatives and their conservative-leaning Republicans will be out there and able to say, vote for me, we have jokes. This guy right here on screen, this is Stephen First. And I feel we need to talk about him for a second, because he was a pretty impressive guy. He had this movie, and this was like his first real step into the world. He was born right around like 54, but this was his first, like, I'm going to pay my bills sort of thing. And when he was 16 in 1970, his parents died. Both of them died of diabetes. After his dad's death, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at age 17. Now, he weighed a total of 320 and had uncontrollable type 2 diabetes by the age of 40 by 1992. So as he's being told by the doctor, we're going to cut your foot off. He had complications arise in 96, and so he goes from 260 pounds to 175. And then he starts co-hosting the Renal Support Network webcast Kidney Talk in 2006 with Lori Hartwell. Now, he became a spokesperson for American Diabetes Association and authored the book Confessions of a Couch Potato. And he also became a celebrity spokesperson for the American Heart Association. And as he did all these things, like, his life started to balance out. In 2017, he died from complications related to diabetes at his home in Moorpark, California, at the age of 63. This guy is a fucking Chad. As much as, like, he died from diabetes, like, it followed him all his life. He fought it on his own terms. He didn't let it take his feet. He did all the right things.
He lived longer than his parents.
Yeah, his parents died when he was
because
16.
of the effort he made to prolong his life, he outlived his parents because of the work that he did. So that's a good thing. That's an accomplishment, that he should be proud of.
I love how they say that he became a sensitivity trainer.
But the thing is, the whole time I watched this movie, he made me think of the guy from 22 Jump Street.
Oh, the big guy.
Yeah, the chubby guy.
Son.
The what?
It was Dom DeLuise's son that plays in 22 Jump Street.
Well, that actor that played the chubby guy along with I can't remember the other one's name right this minute. The guy from Magic Mike, whatever his name is. He did. That's who he reminded me of when I saw him in this movie. But I was in Cell Chronos. Yes, I'm trying to read the chat, but you type really fast. Yeah,
I'm
there's
just
a lot.
through the-
24/7 Fusion Media is hello. Welcome for
Hey,
coming.
sir, how you doing? It's one of my favorite films. The ending of this movie is just the class act. Karen Allen, age 19, saves her boyfriend,
Hmm.
also known as a retard. She calls him a retard in this movie. I don't think you can get away with calling somebody a retard in a movie in 2023.
No, I don't think so.
Hello, 24/7 Fusion Media. How you doing tonight, sir? Now, this scene right here, this guy was telling Karen Allen the whole time as they're filming, hey, we better practice for our kiss.
Yeah, I can see why. He
Uh,
wanted to kiss her.
lucky bastard.
Yeah, she was adorable.
She divorced in 69.
That scene, I just have to talk about that one scene where he gets the ladder that's just conveniently laying out there in the yard by the tree, right?
Yes.
With all the girls frolicking around, you can see them all jumping around in the through the window, through the shadows.
The pillow fight.
Yeah, and he puts the ladder up there, right? And he's looking, and his face is like pretty much smashed into the window, and none of the girls even noticed with a loud clink,
Nope.
beating against the window or under the window, and they're all bouncing around with their shirts off and stuff, and their big panties from the 60s or whatever. And then when he sees the girl that he really likes leave the room, he starts just taking the ladder and go blink, blink, moving along the wall, like clunking. I was laughing so hard through the whole scene, and then he gets to her window and he's looking, and she's looking right out the window, and
Not
she's
even paying
on
attention to
her
him.
chest, and being all like all sexy, thinking about spending 20 minutes trying to jack off a guy that has a limp dick.
Now, in the John Landis universe, if you go to Universal Studios in Hollywood, this lady, this is Babs. She's at the front door waiting for you to show up.
Oh, I love Universal Studios. Every time I go to Florida, I try to go. It's way better than Disney, and it's got good rides. It's a lot of but that whole scene was so stupid for him to just step in and take over, and then they're too stupid to know not to follow him into an alley.
The guy that led them in that alleyway, he died shortly after, I think it was 1981 or 82, but he was one of the main writers of this movie.
Oh, the guy that did the parade thing?
Yes. Yes. He led the band down the alleyway.
Was he blind or something?
No, he wasn't. In the movie, he wasn't blind, but he just had his glasses on. I love how this ends with Senator and Mrs. John Blutarski, Washington, D.C. Fuck yeah, that's America.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. I mean, I love the ending, the way that they did that. But the whole thing with the woman when he's looking in her window, okay, because he's obsessed with her, and she's massaging herself and stuff, and you see him intently watching, and all of a sudden you see the ladder getting farther away because he's getting the hard and it pushes him back into the grass. I couldn't stop laughing. I just thought there was so many really good scenes like that. And look, and the thing is, just like I said, John Belushi didn't say a single thing. Okay?
No.
It was all expressional acting, and that's what makes him a genius at his job in everything he's in, because he has such a unique way of getting everything out without speaking, and you can't help but laugh at him because he's freaking funny.
We don't have that level of actor in America right now. I don't think Bollywood has one either. Because if they did, I'd be told 40 times a day, "Oh, you got to see this Bollywood movie. This guy acts like John Belushi." I can see it now.
He's funny. That whole thing, with the shadows of the girls bouncing around, and it's funny how all those girls shared a room, and this other girl has a room to herself. and they're all wearing such naughty clothing underneath their clothes. I mean, come on, give me a break. You know, yeah, it would be nice if every woman could afford that kind of lingerie under all their clothes, you know, every time they go out. But I just think it's funny. I just like it when you go out on a date and you know you're sitting there and you're rubbing your foot against their leg or whatever your date, and you're saying, I don't have any underwear on, like that. And then their eyes get real big, you know, that kind of thing. That's exciting. But I guess in the 60s when this supposedly was supposed to be what, 1962, all the women wore garters and nose.
In the Landis universe, this movie ends on the parade the day before JFK gets shot. This is November 21st, I believe. 62. I don't know. This movie is just fan-fucking-tastic. I've watched it 3 times Sunday. Like every time I was like, I think I've missed something. Let me rewind that. Let me watch it again. And then I started watching the
Balzette said something in the chat about she when she came in about me talking about the woman that was, you know, trying to whack her boyfriend off or whatever because he told her that you know, he didn't want to go through and have regular sex until marriage or whatever. So that was his way of basically getting hand jobs whenever he wanted without having to please her. So basically he's a self-centered asshole that didn't care about her needs. And she was like going, oh, you know, does it ever get hard? But why would she keep going on a date with this guy? I don't, you know, I felt sorry for her because she didn't have a brain to be herself. You know, I don't know. That couple sucked. They were the worst couple in this movie, I thought. Unhealthy.
I'm of the mindset that I'm happy that the divorce happened in 69. And as much as like Katie in this movie is just beautiful, her character sucks. I'm sorry. Like she was cheating with the teacher, you know, and they filmed that scene with Donald Sutherland showing his ass because he was trying to get Karen Allen to be relaxed. And so he's like, well, if she's going to be naked, I'll be naked under my shirt too.
Well, see, the thing is, you get to see this scene where he goes up to the door and then you see her walking out of the kitchen from behind and you see that she has bare ass because that means she's leaving a room and she's going, you know, into the living room. And you see that. And then you see him walk in and she's like surprised by him being there. And then he sees or hears the other person's voice in the back room, and that's when he realizes that, she was just sleeping with this guy. But he should have known something. But see, he didn't notice it because he was too consumed with his own, you know, things that were going on in his life, and wasn't studying and working hard to get his degree or whatever, so he could graduate, you know, with high honors or whatever. And he wasn't focusing on her because she kept trying to give him hints, you know, don't go to the toga party, come hang out with me, or let's go do this instead. You know, she kept trying to do it. So in a way, I felt bad for him, but I didn't. You know, they weren't married, okay? And the fact that she gave him as much time as she did, I was surprised. But you know, who's going to say no to a young, handsome professor that has a career? You know, he's already somewhere, you know, in his life, and she's wanting to go to somewhere, you know, and what she had wasn't someone she thought was going to take her anywhere. And then at the end, you find out she was right because they were married a couple of years and then he got divorced. So, you know, she knew in advance. But she made it a go for it anyways, but just didn't work out. She probably still didn't grow up. Because like she said, what are you going to do? Get drunk every weekend and hang out with your guy friends? Well, that's what he did. That's
kind of what happened.
So
Surprise.
no, I don't think getting drunk is bad or hanging out with your friends either. It's just that you got to have other things to do, you know. I mean, you can't woo a woman if she's, you know, when you're dating and she doesn't feel you have any potential. You know, you can't even put a roof over your head. I mean, how are you going to keep a job if you're drunk all the time? You know, that's basically what I felt, what she was trying to say in this relationship. And that's why she strayed away from him, is because he wasn't attentive enough, and she didn't think he had the potential of maybe growing up and being responsible. I'm not saying I'm definitely not an advocate for cheating. If she was interested in him or she wasn't happy with him, she should have told him that she wasn't going to see him anymore.
The other part about this movie I wanted to talk about was the road trip that they took.
Mm-hmm.
And they found Fawn's roommate.
Mm-hmm. That was terrible. When he went in there and he started talking about that, then I was like, oh my God, that is the lowest of the low to get someone to sleep with you by lying to him about your girlfriend being dead. That is just
But
that is low.
she started playing along with it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't care. She was horny too. She wanted it.
Yeah, but the fact that he stooped that low, you know, that was the, and the fact that he didn't really tell his friends that's what he was going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, he got other girls, which he did, because each of them had a woman when they left, with using a dead person from the newspaper. That was just low. I just thought that was cheesy and low. I didn't like that. I thought that was gross.
Okay, we disagree on that.
Well,
See,
you're a guy. You know, you can't expect me to agree with that. That's like taking advantage of him. That'd be like me coming up to a guy and telling him that, to me, that's like a grifter, basically. I'd be saying stuff online. It's like, my husband beats me, or some other fake thing to get a guy to send me money and come see me. What's the difference between that and him using this lie to get laid?
There's no difference.
That's what I'm trying to say. So you can't get mad at me for that. And I'm an advocate against that now. I hate spammers. I make videos against them. You know, I hate people that try to pretend there's something they're not and try to scam people out of money or other things by lying to them, you know.
But I thought that part of the movie was hilarious because we all know a dirtbag friend of ours that's done that or something like that. And I'm not applauding the fact that both of those people are terrible people, okay? Because she started playing along with it at the very end, where she's like, she used to tell us what you and her would do.
She was like, yeah, he's cute. You know, at the end, you know, she was telling me how cute he was. So, but the other girls didn't get a cute guy like them, like her. They ended up with the bottom of the barrel when it came to looks. You know, at least to them. And the one girl that was with the chubby boy, she wasn't that attractive. She wasn't even half attractive as his real girlfriend.
No.
So, you know, that's how I look at it. But see, to me, I don't think looks are everything in a relationship. You know,
well, I'm not trying to advocate for looks or everything in a relationship.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is the cute guy, I can't remember his name right now. I keep forgetting his name. He used his looks and fake stories to get laid when he didn't have to. If he would have but see, he didn't want a potential girlfriend. He just wanted to have sex. That's it. So he was using whatever means possible just to get laid. So he was, I mean, if he was a friend of mine in high school, I would warn everyone about him. That's the kind of guy I would not want to be friends with. I knew lots of guys like that. You know, I'd be in shop or agri with some guys and they're talking about their conquests on the weekend before, you know, oh, I'm going to go out with her. I'm going to ask her out because if she gives head or whatever, you know, it was pathetic to me. I was like, that's one reason why I guess I wasn't really that interested, because there was very few guys. It was like 3 or 4 schools near me. And I was like, if they're all like that, then I'm not interested. I'm not worried about it. I'm not missing out. So it just turned me off, I guess, because I knew too much. Just like I was talking about the stuff about movie stuff, is that when you know certain things about certain people, it ruins it, because I'd be on movie sets with some people and, people are going, oh, he's awesome. I want to get his autograph. I'm like, go for it. Because I know they were jerks. So it takes away from a lot of things when you know more than you should.
As a person who's met Matthew McConaughey a couple times,
Mhm.
I've had good transactions with him. I mean, I've been in a position of a service provider
Mhm.
where, like, the first time I was driving his wife's friend from their house in West Lakes over to the Austin airport. And so I got a chance to meet his little dogs, and I got a chance to shake his hand. And
Mhm.
then he's like, most guys like you want an autograph or, do a selfie. I'm like, no, I shook your hand. That's more than what anybody else could get. He's like, that's true. And then, like, he seemed pretty okay with that. And he might be completely different on set, but like with me and him talking just as guys, like, he was pretty cool. He was more impressed with the fact that I got his dogs to let me pet them. And then one of the dogs wanted to get in the car. So that was
Well,
something
it changes people. Some people, like when you have a dog or a cat, and other people talk about your cat or your dog, especially when you have that attachment to an animal. So animals do bring people together or push people apart, depending on what the interaction is with the pet.
my wife, she's not looking forward to having to owning a dog unless she gets to have two dogs, because she knows one of the dogs will be exclusively mine and the other dog will want to hang out with me too. And she's like, I hate it when we go to the dog park because all the dogs want to go to you and I barely get any attention from the dogs. But here you are, you've got a pit bull laying in your lap, petting his belly, and the other dogs are they're waiting in line to get their belly rubbed.
Mm-hmm.
Not fair. She hates that.
Well, she needs to get herself a little, like, Chihuahua or a little poodle or something
She
small
wants
that she
a
can carry
big
her
dog.
love on.
She wants a big dog. She wants a pit
Oh.
bull. And I mean, I'm not against a pit bull. I like pit bulls. They're really gentle. And, I mean, they also eat kids really good too. So that'll keep the kids out of the yard. I think there's certain people that, like, whenever they see the fact that you've got an attachment with their dogs or their dogs like you, like, all of their shields go down. Like, if I wouldn't have been so friendly to the pups, then Matt McConaughey would have been like complete dick to me.
Maybe.
But I was there to do a service. I didn't really care that it was Matt McConaughey's house, because once he said, it's my friend of my wife that's riding with you, it's not me. I'm just out here letting the dogs relieve themselves. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then, like, I played more with the dogs and I worried about, like, being in the physical bubble of Matt McConaughey.
Mm-hmm.
Travis says something very important here. She needs to bathe in bacon grease. Dogs will love her then. Okay.
Oh.
Matt, Travis, I shave my scalp with olive oil and I eat bacon on a pretty much daily. I eat at least 14 strips of bacon every week, which is why I'm fat. One of the reasons I'm fat. So I've just got to say that I win the scent test with dogs. That's all I'm going to say. Right? Yeah. Protect perimeter, kids within perimeter. Yeah. Bacon's amazing. Bacon is like the American food group. I do have to ask Janet.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your rating for this movie? Like, if you were trying to talk to somebody who'd never seen it before, like a young kid, and you had just seen this, like, what would you say to them?
Well, I talked to two people today about me watching this movie, and one had recently watched it and they thought it was awesome, and the other person hadn't watched it yet. But I talked to him about it and I told him a little bit about it, and because they know that that I talk about movies and stuff, but that most of the movies that we talk about are the older ones because we don't agree with the woke stuff that we have out today, and this person agrees with me. So I think it depends on the person you're talking to, whether you would recommend this movie to them or not. But I would recommend it to most people, except for
People stick up their butt.
if somebody that's like under 16, I probably wouldn't want them to see it because there's things in it, even though it's an old movie, that I wouldn't want them to think that they can do it. You know what I mean? Or try it or whatever.
Yeah. But just because you're 16 doesn't mean you can go get laid on a football field with somebody.
Well, that part about the 13-year-old, but the thing is, when you see when John Belushi gets that bottle of, it looks like Jack Daniels, and he just drinks the whole thing down.
Mm-hmm.
There's little things like that if a younger kid or a couple boys, let's say like 3 boys get together that are 13 to 16, and they see people doing that in this movie and thinking they can drink a whole bottle and make a joke about it and try to drink it. I wouldn't want to see something like that happen. That would be one of the only deterrents really that I would be worried about, is because of the alcohol consumption. And not if they were just sitting around drinking beer like they were when the dean comes in to tell them their grades suck. Look at that part. They're all just casually hiding their beers, trying to hide their beers. That's not a problem. It's the parts where they're just guzzling it. You know what I mean? Guzzling the bottles of booze and stuff like that. What, like the young girl that's drinking the punch,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing down in like 2 seconds, and then gets another one and drinks the whole thing. Just little things like that. To me, with a younger person, I'd be worried that they would think that they did it in this. I think I could do it. You know what I mean? That would be the only thing I'd be worried about. But yeah, I think it's funny as heck. It's definitely humor that you cannot see today, and you would never see some of that was said or talked about in this movie. Not the pop part. It's not that aspect of it. It's the other things that they did throughout the movie that I wouldn't
not approve of.
Yeah, that I would say that you would never see. This is a movie, if you want to see nostalgia, this is a good movie for it, because the premise of everything that goes on in this movie, you'll never see. I mean, just like I said, we've gone back in time when it comes to what we were able to get away with in a film now. Because
the woke left, the woke left is a bunch of laughter Puritans. They don't believe in laughter. It's just like we've gone back in time to the era of Footloose, and we're in that little small town, and Kevin Bacon
was in this movie too.
Yes, it was his first. This is Kevin Bacon and Karen Allen's first movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were young, and he was funny, and him getting trampled on that one scene in the sidewalk. He was pounded into the pavement, if you noticed it.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. So there was a lot of corny stuff, and you could tell that Landis loves John Belushi, or loved him.
Yes.
They probably would have made so many movies together that were all hits, I bet, if he didn't die.
We got one more film out of this for John Belushi, and that was with John Landis, and that was the Blues Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why the Blues Brothers was made is because during the filming of this movie, John Belushi went into a bar, and there was a guy singing jazz and blues. He had a harpsichord and a harmonica, and it inspired Belushi to get some dark pants and a dark suit jacket and a white shirt, and to start doing something like the Blues Brothers. And that was the inspiration on set or offset of this movie that happened, and that's what created the Blues Brothers. Then Otis Redding in this movie wasn't known as Otis Redding. He had his birth name before that, but because they billed him as Otis Redding and the Knights, Otis Redding was like, shit, that's a more fly name than what I got right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so he legally changed his name to Otis Redding based on what happened in this movie.
Well, that whole scene I thought was hilarious. And they did do that now, where they all got in the car and then they went to that bar with those women they picked up, right?
Mhm.
And they go in and I didn't even notice. Okay, when they went in and you saw them singing up there because you saw them on the billboard, and they went in and the camera panned around the room. I didn't even notice it was all black people. Okay. So I guess I'm not racist because I just saw it as a full bar and the people were having fun and they were listening to music until the person mentioned that, everyone's black or something like that.
Yeah.
I went, oh, they're in a black bar or whatever. And then everybody could tell the one guy wasn't uncomfortable at all. I mean, he felt like he was right at home, but and everyone else, they handled it really well. I thought they sat down at the table, and they were waiting to get their drinks or whatever. And then when the 2 or 3 black guys showed up and walked over there to stand with them, dressed in their like Superfly outfit. Is that what you would call those clothes?
I guess. I mean, I could say something, but man, I get booted off YouTube right now.
Well, I mean, this dress like some of the TV shows I remember my mother liking, I can't remember the names of them so bad, but
they had some really fly jackets. I'll just say that.
They were like wearing the hats. They had the hats on that kind of looked like some of the hats I remember on the TV shows that my mom liked. But the one guy pulling the switchblade that was standing next to him at the bar, I thought that was funny. But then the huge guy walks over there and he goes, "We want to dance with your women." With dates or whatever it was. And then to get up, he just picks up the whole table and rips it up the floor.
That little girl, that little brunette, whenever he gives her his hand and she puts her hand in his, she has that look of, oh my God, save me.
And then what was really bad is that the guys go there, the one guy lies to him and acts like sorry, my finger's poking out because this is the one I got my stitches in, people. See? But I have to have the thing up. I'm trying to get, because it's still swollen. It won't bend all the way. That's why I'm pointing. It's not because I'm pointing at anything. Darn it. Oh, it was the fact they lied to all the girls to get them to go with them so they'd have dates. And then they go to the bar and it ends up being all black people. They rammed people's vehicles with their vehicle and then they ran up and left the women. And then when they get in the car, the other woman's half naked, and so is the guy because they were about to, do the
finishing business
in the back seat. And then she gets out and the girls end up walking home, or basically they all get in the car, but the guys left them in there with those big dudes. Mm-hmm. I mean, these guys were total a-holes in that scene to those girls, except for the one chubby kid because he was freaking out about his brother's car getting the shit beat out. Like what do you call those things? The something derbies? Demolition derby.
Demolition derbies, yes.
I went to a couple of those when I was in high school. Man, that was fun.
I got to agree with this. 6 Nation 31 King says, some may say superfly. Yeah, that works a lot better than the word that was on the tip of my tongue. I said
superfly guys.
My bad. Yeah, she was getting all boinky. I don't know. I think the lady that the roommate to the girl that died, I thought she was probably like the sluttiest chick in the entire movie.
Yeah, because basically her roommate was telling her how wonderful her lover was, and what he was doing to her and all that stuff. Because girls talk about it just like guys do. So she was like, when she noticed that he's interested, that she was like, I'm going to find out what, my roommate was able to get, So she's kind of excited about it. So to me, I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. And I didn't think it was bad on her part. Her friend was dead. And she didn't know that this guy wasn't really the boyfriend. she really thought he was. So she wasn't as bad as him. It's just that she was like, inquisitive, wanting to find out what she was missing out on.
She
Like the
apparently
hand job girl.
she was on the road to get that answer, by the way, until
She didn't.
Yeah,
She started to think about it now. Just sit back and go home and think about what could have happened instead of what did happen. But yeah, that was a funny scene though. The whole thing, the awkwardness of everyone.
I love this. This is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably in my top 10. Easy top 10 movie of all time. I don't understand why some people would not rate it high. I'm going to give it an 8.5 because of a lot of
I
reasons.
had given the Blues Brothers a 9. Okay, remember, because I said I don't know if I could give it a 10, but this one I would give it like a 7 and a 7.
Okay.
I thought it was really funny though. I did laugh, and if it hadn't been for John Belushi, I don't know if I would have liked it as much.
He tied the movie together. He really did. I think there's a lot of things about this film that aren't perfect, but there's a lot of parts about this movie that are just fucking amazing, and they've admitted this movie into the halls of Congress to be preserved for its historical accuracy and for its cultural impact. Blah 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 blah.
The thing is, my rating isn't. Sorry to interrupt you, but before I forget my thought process, isn't because the movie was bad or that I didn't like the script, because I thought all of it. Now that I'm older and I understand more about the whole thing about college and fraternities and things like that, because I've been trying to read about it and stuff, is the fact that I didn't understand any of it. You know what I mean? That when you don't understand it, like we talked about many times about gunplay and swordplay. I love kung fu and things like that. So that scene with the one girl on the bus, remember from that movie, Meat Train or whatever?
Yes.
That scene was freaking phenomenal to me because I understand and I enjoy that type of battle. You know what I mean? I understand the way that they fight, so it's entertainment to me. But another person that doesn't understand the concept of it or how it's done wouldn't get the same enjoyment out of it, you see, as I would, and they would go, it was all right, you see. So basically, that whole part where when it came to the fraternity, the understanding of the way that they treat each other and things like that, it was just hard for me because I just didn't understand it. So I can't rate it high because I still don't really grasp the concept of people doing that. So I feel bad about it, but I don't know what else to say about it.
Fair enough. This movie was admitted in 2001 to the Library of Congress. They deemed the film culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant, and it's in the Preservation of National Film Registry. It ranked in 2000 number 36 on 100 Years, 100 Laughs of the best 100 American comedies. The movie started a kind of a between this and the Kentucky Fried Movie. This is what got Landis on the map. Okay, and those were two films that were coming off of a time where America was not really feeling so proud of itself. You had some people upset about the decision to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Then you had the failure of Richard Nixon in the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and we lost JFK about a day after this movie supposedly ended. So there's a whole bunch of things that happened in the late 70s, and when this movie came out, it birthed the slob comedy. If it wasn't for this movie, we would have no Caddyshack. One of the writers of this movie was working on the writing for Caddyshack, actually. You wouldn't have the movie American Pie. You wouldn't have the American Pie series.
Yeah.
This movie also put National Lampoon's as a number 2 magazine off of newsprint sales for like over a decade. This movie did that. So there's a lot of parts about this movie had a huge legacy birthed out of this silly little film. And so I really think that this is a movie that not only do I love this movie just through and through, and I could watch it for days, which I proved to myself I could without losing any momentum. I really think that there's a lot of parts of this movie that other people, whenever you mention it, immediately they start telling you about their favorite parts. And now that I've shown you this movie, you're probably not going to have the same camaraderie with other people about this film. But whenever people talk to you about Animal House, you're going to be like talking about John Belushi or various things that you thought were just funny, and you'll laugh about it. And it's just one of these movies that you share. This is a social event as much of a event itself in the cinematic sense. This is almost a movie that I would consider better than Rocky Horror Picture Show, because I think you would have a better time in theater watching this than Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody knows what's going to happen. It's been out for over 40 years, but it is such a good classic film that you would have people getting just amazingly loose with the script, and they'd be screen talking the script the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Kronos, thank you, sir. I hope we entertained you.
Thank you for coming by, Kronos.
Also, there's an interesting part. We'll review the Twilight Zone movie here in about a month and a half, 2 months, maybe. It'll be before the next year is over. It's another movie directed by John Landis, and a scene set in Vietnam includes a soldier saying, "I told you guys we should not have shot Lieutenant Niedermeyer."
Yeah, I think I remember that line from that movie.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw Twilight Zone, but that's a really good movie. And
yeah, that was a movie that my mom actually wanted me to watch because she loved the TV show, The Twilight Zone. So when they did the movie, my mom wanted to see it.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that Vic Morrow died during the filming of it. And we'll study that whenever we do the movie. I'll do some studies on what happened with the helicopter crash and let you know what I found out, and anything extra I could belch out and tell you guys about. I'm going to do that. But I consider this movie to be a high rate. This is a 9, probably in my top 10 movies list. Janet, not so much.
I would give it a higher rank if I understood more about that part of it. But it's not the movie's fault. It's more my fault because I when I was watching, I was like, grown people do this? You know, I was just really taken aback by it because I couldn't I didn't get the concept of it because I was never involved in anything like that. So, it's hard to judge something that you've never dabbled in. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense or anything, but to anyone, I'm trying to be as honest as I can about it. But I thought it was excellent. I thought when it came to the acting, the overall story, the character arcs, I thought all that was, top notch. And definitely the director is great. I mean, I've liked every movie I've seen that he's directed. The scenes, the props, I mean, everything. Just like I said, I was mesmerized by everything in their fraternity. I mean, I just thought what a cool place it would be if it was a museum just to get to go in and just to see all of it. It was just so much stuff packed in there, so much memorabilia that I just was in awe of it. I'm one of those type of people that I love going to old homes and flea markets and what do you call those the auctions that they do at these people's homes when people pass away and they just go in and do one of those. I can't remember what that word is right this second, but those type of auctions where they go into a home and you can just go in and pick things out and buy it, books or this whatever it is they have because the person had passed away. And I've been to 4 or 5 of those, and it's just exciting to me. And it's pieces of someone's life. Just like I said, I'm so eclectic in my own life. I have so many random things that have no rhyme or reason, but they make me happy when I have them. I mean, this, like I showed you guys, I know I showed Bruce my can of J.R. Ewing beer. It's an unopened can, and I love it. Every so often I'll just pick it up and hold it and look at it and stuff, just simply because I have one. I don't know if that makes any sense. I know it sounds really stupid, but I'm just like, that's just who I am. So it's hard for me to give a mark on something or to give it a high score when I don't know whether I'm right or not, because I don't know anything about that part. But the comic part of it, I definitely would give a 9, because I laughed through the whole thing, pretty much from beginning to end. I laughed, and I did think that the girl was for cheating on her supposed boyfriend with a hot young professor, even though he was, he looked pretty good. I'd never seen him that young. I've never seen him in anything that young. I didn't see any of his older movies, but he was very attractive. So I could see why she'd be interested in him, and I could see why he'd be interested in her, because she's just adorable, very pretty, beautiful, big, beautiful eyes and beautiful freckly face, very fresh, girl next door kind of look.
She's got a better Valerie Bertinelli than Valerie Bertinelli. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think she's prettier than Valerie Bertinelli.
Yeah,
actress. I think I just adored her in Raiders. I just thought she was so pretty and a tomboyish character, which I always leans towards. There was a movie with Christy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it right this minute, but I remember watching that, and because lots of guys always told me that I looked like Christy McNichol or whatever type thing, and that they used to have crushes on Christy McNichol and stuff like that. But then I started, finally, my mom told me that when you don't worry about it, you're just a late bloomer, but you'll start turning into a woman. So my mom always told me, and she was right, because I was there for a little while. I was going, I got to go get a boob job so I can compete with my sisters. But I have my own boobs now, so I didn't have to. But I was a late bloomer, so it happens to some of us. Sometimes it doesn't. It's just late. But I would definitely. I guess I could give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. I'd give it one more mark, because I can't give it as high to me as Blues Brothers. To me, Blues Brothers was I liked it way more than Animal House. But for totally different reasons, because I remember I told you I stood up and danced to every song in the movie, and I just loved it. And I loved. I'm trying to find me right now. I'm trying to find the Blues Brothers music so that I can have the whole album. Because one of my favorite songs on the album was Rubber Biscuit. I don't even if you know what that one is, but I love that one. I used to sing along to it every time I heard it.
Good song. Surprise everybody. Next week, we're not going to really talk about a movie. Next week is our 52 episode. So that's one full year of this Monday night show being in operation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a show to remember. I'm going to open the doors. I'm going to put links in the chat. So anybody that's ever wanted to ask us questions about a movie we've watched or any movies we've watched, I want to have people come in and just kind of like, do a quick question or two. And, we'll be more than happy to talk and ask you, what do you like about this show, or what, if you have, any criticism, go ahead, level at us. I'd be more than happy to hear that.
We'll show some cleavage because someone said something about my boobs. So there we go.
You will say something about your boobs.
Those are mine. I was born with them. They grew on me as I got older.
Let's hear more about Janet's boobs.
That's what I said.
Well, whenever she does that, whenever she gets on screen for a little bit next week until she's like, Bruce, stop it. We'll do this. And you get more frontal Janet, more full
See,
Janet.
here's my boo boo. Anybody want to see my boo-boo I got? It's so much better it looks.
She puts it right from her boobs.
Do what? I'm sorry.
You put it right in front of your boobs. It's great.
Oh, well, I was just trying to make it. I was trying to turn it so you could see the stitches.
Okay. So we will be here next week. We're going to do an anniversary show. We haven't had. I don't think my other shows I've got. We have not done an anniversary show, but I'm more than willing to do an anniversary show on this because I have fun on this. I mean, not that I don't have fun with my friends on other panels, but like I've been getting messages and like, what are you gonna do for your anniversary? I want to have just kind of like a recap and just talk and BS for a few hours.
Yeah, why don't you guys tell us which movies, how you would rank the movies that we've talked about, and from your favorite one, or your worst one to your favorite one, and see. Didn't one week somebody in the chat asked if I was your wife?
That's happened more than what we need to discuss. But
well, it hasn't been very long that I've been able to even read the chat because I was trying to do it on my phone because I didn't know how to do it on here until Bruce showed me that I can read it on this part, but I can't respond or anything. Now I can, because I can do my own now. I know how to do a live stream, so I'm real excited about it. And I did my first one. I even did a pre-setup, so people could see that I'm gonna have.
That's awesome.
So, I did that one. It did pretty good. So
your stream was great to listen to, by the way.
it was a really good one, and I was so thankful that they didn't have any glitches or problems like they've been having on the Twitter Spaces. It's been a lot of problems, so to be able to play that on there was really cool. So I was really happy about it. It really made me feel good to be able to help my friends get the word out a little better because they didn't have a channel, and I'm not big, but I'll be happy to share my space to get this out. And help you.
Janet, what is your channel name? Awesome one wants to know.
Janet from Another Planet.
There you go, buddy.
That's it. That's me. Thank you.
Do you have an idea what you want to when we start our the start of our second year here in 2 weeks? Do you know what you want to have us watch?
Yes, but I don't. I mean, should I tell it now or wait till after we get to do the other one?
I'll leave that completely up to you.
Well, I was really leaning toward. I sent you a picture of somebody I can't wait to see again because that movie just is so good to me. And for some reason, somebody said something in a space on Twitter, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went and I found that picture and I sent it to you on Discord and said, I want to do this movie. So I think I want to do that one.
Okay.
Do you think it'd be fun?
I think it'd be great. And that would be there's a lot of reasons why I like
sci-fi, our sci-fi things that we really like, because I really like it. So I'm wanting to do not next week, but the week after, I want to do The Fifth Element. I think it's a great movie to watch, and I love the actors and stuff that's in it, and it's just got a lot, it's got a lot of good stuff in it.
Sounds like a lot of fun. And
there are two Janets. Well,
there's two echo. There's an echo.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I am. Is it me that's echoing?
You're fine.
Okay.
I'm not upset. The fact there's two Janets makes me really happy.
No, I know, but I wonder if I guess there's another Janet from another planet.
Oh, there's you have on the end of your.
Two.
It has
I guess they gave that some actress that's on a soap opera a long time ago, her Janet from Another Planet. So I guess they gave her the one, and they gave me the two because I'm not famous like she was. I don't remember what her name is though, and I never watched that soap opera or anything. But
fair enough.
But my name is Janet, so hers isn't.
I think this is about a good time as any for us to wrap up the stream. And really want to thank everybody for showing up for our. We kind of discussed Animal House, but we didn't. We did, but we didn't. And I really enjoyed the fact that like we were able to tangent off and go back onto it because it's one of my more favorite films, and there's always more to talk about with Animal House. It's just how that movie is. Appreciate everybody being here. Does anybody have any questions about tonight's stream? That'd be my first question for chat. And while I'm asking and waiting for that to pop up in chat, Janet,
Yes.
what thoughts do you have about this movie that you haven't already discussed, or did you get everything out that you wanted?
Well, it was really fun, and I laughed and laughed. And it was just so cool to get to see all these people. And there was so many people's faces because I had never seen this before. And to see Kevin Bacon and a whole bunch of other faces that I was like, wow, I recognize. Just like when I watched the Blues Brothers and I realized that was Pee-wee Herman in it. So you just miss so much when you're not really paying that much attention. But because we're doing this to do it, I'm getting to pay a little more attention to what's going on, in the actual movie, which I was really trying to do, but I just had a hard time understanding this whole concept of grown men doing stuff like that to each other. But I guess the women do the same thing in the college fraternities. So so I was different in one. So I guess because when you're a nerd, you're just not accepted. But I don't know. Just kidding, because I didn't go to college. I went to just a regular trade school, whatever, and they didn't have anything like that. But the only thing that it was kind of sad was after I watched it, and the more I was thinking about it, was the sad fact that we've gone back in time to where we had so many freedoms and stuff. That's the sad thing. And I know it's my fault that this happens to Bruce's show, because everything, I guess I overanalyze everything, because I watch this movie and I laugh at all the funny things that they did in this movie to men, women, everyone. Everyone's a target. But today you can't do that anymore. You can't laugh at things and joke around and have fun at things that we did when we were kids, because now it's not politically correct. It's like politics is oozed into everything, and we're not allowed to have fun anymore. We're not allowed to laugh. We're not allowed to joke. It won't be long. The only costume you're going to be able to wear is just a costume that makes you look like everyone else. You're not going to be able, it's just going to be a plastic mask that covers your face and all your features, so nobody has boobs or anything, because it'd be a shapeless blob walking around, and that's all anything is going to be. It's just shapeless blobs consuming food or air and water. Basically where I see us being pushed to where it's taking away everything. That's taking away anything that we enjoy. And I'm sorry, I hate to keep doing that, but that makes me sad.
Completely fine. I wouldn't be upset if I hadn't there was a movie called Harrison Bergeron, which was based off of an amazing Kurt Vonnegut story, and Sean Astin in 1994 or 1996, I can't remember which, but he played Harrison Bergeron in that movie, and you're describing exactly the fucking movie.
I haven't seen the movie, but to me it's just sad because, I don't know. It's just sad to me that so many people, if we don't do something to fix it and be able to bring back real comedy, having a writer be able to write something down, their imagination down on a piece of paper and make a screenplay, and be able to take it to someone and someone read it and go, oh my God, that's so good. It's a love story or a comedy or whatever it is, and be able to get the people that like it to get the money and the funding and find locations and actors and do all the stuff, and then bring it to life so other people can see the vision that the person had in their mind when they wrote it down on a piece of paper. or wrote a book about it. We're not going to have that visual aid anymore called movies if we don't take it back and start. That's why I always push independent movies. If you can see an independent movie, see it, because they're all that's left when it comes to the vision that we used to have in Hollywood, you know? And once we get that, if we can strive to get that, maybe our grandchildren will get to actually watch a movie that's made that's good. You know, it's about entertainment instead of political views being crammed down your throat. That's the sad fact that I see in all of it, is that we can't even use it for entertainment anymore. You know,
That's true. I mean, it just kind of upset
I mean,
me.
when you buy a ticket to go see a porn, you know, you're going to get lucky. You're going to watch it knowing it when you get to the end of it, you're going to get laid, right? Well, when you go to buy a ticket to a regular movie, you're going there to get entertainment, you know. Like I told you, I went and saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie and I loved it. I stood up at the end and I was clapping. I was so happy. And other people were clapping. And it was so much fun. I felt like a little kid. I mean, watching it. And it's been so long since I've been able to go to the movies, eat popcorn and have a slushy drink. And just love the movie and laugh and be immersed in it. And I just want to get back to that. I really do. Be able to sit and hold hands with someone watching a romantic movie, or be able to sit and laugh next to someone and enjoy a wonderful movie that has a great story that isn't for just one type of person. And I don't know. I'm trying to keep my hopes up, but I'm so thankful that we still have movies that we can watch that were older, that have so many wonderful stories to be told, you know. And for young people that haven't got to see them yet, to get to see a movie and see what real entertainment was. I still want to do that. So that's why I'm doing this with you, Bruce, because I think that we're not doing it the typical way that everybody does it, you know. We're doing it from our hearts. And we're sharing our true feelings about something and how much we love it or how much we hate it, because we don't always agree on everything. And that's what makes it more real, is that we're talking about stuff that even you and I don't agree on every time, you know, because that's reality. Not everybody likes what someone else likes.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with that. I don't want
Me
to
too.
echo chamber.
I don't either. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
I like hearing what you have to say when I'm not interrupting you.
And I do such a good job of not saying things like, "Well, yes, Janet, I was finished talking. Go ahead." I don't need no, because I'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Okay, I got interrupted, no big deal. But like it's part of the fun of having a conversation. Sometimes you don't get to go talk whenever you think it's your cue to talk. You'll say something and it triggers somebody else. Like, oh, hold on, before you finish, let me say this. And that happens. That happens. And I think a lot of people do that, and that's fine. I'm not upset about that.
Well, see, I like it because it's almost like we're sitting in your house and we each got a drink and we're just sitting and discussing a movie we just watched.
That's the entire goal for this.
And that's what I like about it. It's a different way of being able to have a discussion about something. And, you know, I wish more people could do that. I wish more people could just sit down and talk about their feelings about something, you know, whatever the topic is, but talk with somebody that you know is not going to judge you because you have a different point of view. And that's something that's really we've gotten away from in everyday life, is that people are afraid to talk about things anymore because it's not worth it. We'll get in a fight, or they're going to hate me, or they're going to block me, or whatever, you know. So it's just nice. I like being able to talk about something and be myself when I'm talking about. And yeah, sometimes I say things and it goes over my head, or or what, I don't understand it or whatever, but you know, oh well, it's just the way it is. That's
The
reality.
way life goes.
Mhm.
No, I plan on doing the stream until I'm no longer able to do the stream. So if you want to do this on Monday nights, it's great because my wife's
I
really.
I love it. I cannot believe we've done it this long. It just doesn't seem. It just doesn't seem like we've been doing it this long. 52 shows.
Next week. Yeah.
I know. I would say if someone had asked me, I said maybe 30 something, maybe, because it doesn't seem like it, does it?
Mm-hmm.
It's gone by really fast.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Mhm. But it has.
If there's any questions anybody has, lay them in the commentary track or the comments of this video. Just give it a few seconds once we end this. We'd be more than happy to talk about that. Six Nation 31 Kings. We did. There are people that get upset because you went and saw the D&D movie, and how dare you enjoy the D&D movie? But the movie itself, not a bad thing. Actually, pretty okay. There's some problems with it. I'm not going to say it's a perfect film, but I will say that it's all right, you know. But I don't like the house that made it, and that's where I'm going to give my friends in the chat a voice, because the reason why I'm worried about that is that they're going to take away what was D&D, which was geeks around a table making fart jokes and trying to roll dice and trying to get through combats, and then like talking about treasure and then talking about the cute girl in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get away from that, and we're going to start making it a lifestyle brand where there's like D&D pajamas and D&D wedding gifts, and there's D&D this. It's everything about the D&D itself. There's no more game. There's no more. There's no actual like thing where people could have like potentially get their feelings hurt, because I've played an elf for the past 26 years and you hurt my feelings when you made fun of me with your dwarf character. I don't want to have that level of animosity at a game table. No, Hasbro and WotC or Wizards of the Coast want to make a product that is consumable by everybody. And that's where a lot of people get really upset that people are going to see the movie and having fun, because they're worried that what made the name D&D good is gone. And here's the thing, D&D's been not so good for at least 15, maybe 23 years, because a new company bought it back in the late 90s, and they changed everything since then. It's not nearly what it was. Therein lies the problem. You fund the enemy because nostalgia. That's the thing. If they want to make it a lifestyle brand, Bowsette, I'm okay with that. Go ahead, make it a lifestyle brand. Make it DC Comics, like what Time Warner's doing to that name. Go ahead. The only thing I've bought D&D in the past 12 years is the Big Red Dragon for my wife, because my wife liked it. And Six Nation 31 King says it was a niche market gone popular, going to be real hard to go back instead of looking forward. And it's not just Bowsette chimes in. It's not just that, Bruce. It's the politics and the company's not learning their lesson. I get that. And bad Bruce for giving them $50 for a big stuffed dragon. I didn't have the excess to get a rip-off Chinese dragon, but I needed it just for a token, not even for what it's for, not for what it's for, but I just need it just so my wife knows that, like, we had our anniversary. I want you to have this. This is, and she likes it a lot, and that's all I care about. I don't care about the D&D name. It's all under the bridge. Like
that's good. I think that's very sweet of you to overlook your feelings about something to purchase it for someone you love.
Well, I didn't have an option. I didn't have another big fat dragon that had my face on the scruffy frilled neck.
Well, what I mean is, I think that that's great that you did that, and what I want to say is that I got to dabble just a tiny bit in Dungeons and Dragons when I was young, And then I never did get the opportunity to do it, because every time I had some people that were able to do it, we moved. I mean, I grew up as an Air Force brat, so every 2 years we were moving. So no one wanted me to play, because they said, well, she's never going to be here because she's in the leave. So I that was dashed. And then one day we were all talking in here and in Discord, and Bruce had said something about that he does that, and I was like, huh? So I went and I was watching them play, and I was like, this is awesome to get to do this. And I didn't think I'd ever get to do anything like this. And then when they invited me to try to play, I said I would love to try, but I felt kind of bad, because I didn't want them to have to put everything they've worked so hard for on hold to help me out. But once they did it, each week, just getting to hear the story and get to immerse myself in, and how can I help my team be more successful, and learning new spells, and just learning the stories about the different characters that have been involved earlier before I even joined the game. All these things, to me, it's just been phenomenal. I've loved it. I'm learning from it, and it's fun. I look forward to doing it each 2 weeks on Saturday, and spend 8 hours playing live online with a bunch of people just sitting around the computer. But it's fun, and I'm excited about it. And then when the movie came out, I didn't realize that Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder or any of that stuff was different. I just assumed all of it was the same thing, because I'm not well versed in all of that yet. I haven't learned any of that. All I'm looking at is almost like in the childlike honest of getting to be accepted into doing it. So when I saw the movie, it was almost like I was in the movie. I was playing the game in my mind with the characters on the screen. And I'm talking about the just what I saw, like, I guess like a child would see it. And I don't know anything about all the other things that you guys seem to be upset about, but I can only tell you my perspective, from what I know in my own personal life. That's all I have. It's the only thing I have to go on. And I don't think that's wrong that you feel this way. I have lots of things when it comes to child slavery and things like that, when it comes to Nike tennis shoes and things like that. So I can understand, but I know about that perspective of something. And, but I can't help but have fun and cheer in a movie that I felt like I could be involved in. And that's why I loved it. I thought it was really good. And I still don't understand a lot of the things that Bruce has tried to explain to me about Hasbro and some other stuff, but it just hasn't sunk in yet. I mean, because I don't really know enough and understand enough of it. But I guess as I play and I learn more about it and understand more about the person who started it and all that they put into it, and the different companies doing different things, backstabbing each other and stuff. Yeah, that's all bad, and I don't want to support that. But I didn't know any of that stuff before I got to start doing this. So I'm thankful that you guys accepted me, and you're letting me learn each week and get to interact, because I love it.
I mean, I might be a bad person because I give money to YouTube, which I do. I give $10 a month to YouTube because that's the contract they have with me for no ads. Whenever I surf YouTube or YouTube Music, more importantly, YouTube Music allows me to have access to their complete Google Play audio library. So whenever I want to listen to something, I don't got to listen to fucking 45 seconds of ads. Every fourth song, I don't got an ad. I don't have to worry about ads. So I'll pay the $10, and I'm a bad person for doing that. But there's not another music service that has everything I want like this one. And I maybe SoundCloud might, but they don't have the play ability that YouTube Music has. Secondly, by me paying them, it allows me the chance to bitch. And that's something that you as a paying customer deserve. So if we're fucking up here, you let us know. Even though this is a free service, if you don't like something that's going on with my channel, tell me. Bowsette, I see completely what you're saying. Everybody I know is watching Picard season 3 thinking it's wonderful. I think it's still shit. I'm not going to watch it, and I'm going to probably never watch it because I don't like Kurt's Trek, and I never will like Kurt's Trek. I have a lot of books that I need to read. I have a bookstore across from my home that I need to go visit more often. I don't need to watch more stuff. I only use the YouTube because it's what's on whenever I get my hands full of paints and miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. That, you know, and I'm getting more into audiobooks. An awesome one hits it completely right. I don't care about dead IPs. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, great stuff in the past. Ever since they got purchased by somebody new, it's been pathetic. You know, I mean, I don't know anybody who's been happy with Star Wars since 2012. I don't know anybody who got excited about Star Trek 2012 because nobody cared to see a reboot of Khan. Khan was perfect in 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Travis, J1975. Yeah, I'm sorry about the lack of gratuitous nudity on the stream. We did have some gratuitous nudity on last stream with Blaine or with Chimerian because we got to see what his desktop had on it, and holy shit, like plenty of nakedness.
What are you talking about?
On Thursday night, my friend Ty was running a game for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I stopped in. I said hi to everyone.
There was a moment where he had his screen visible, and there were boobs broadcast out on YouTube. Not saying it was a good stream. I'm going to say that I had boobs broadcast out on YouTube from my channel, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten an angry letter yet. But whatever.
I've seen more than boobs on YouTube, so exactly. I don't have it on my channel. I even have people make fun of me because I have things that I have for 18 and older, but it's not for nudity. It's just because I say a lot of dirty innuendos, you know, in some toasts and a couple jokes that I think are inappropriate for young people. And, you know, if somebody else wants to show their boobs and their ass and whatever else and do whatever with jewelry on here, that's great. But it's not going to be me. I'm not going to have my name on it.
I'm just waiting for the day where somebody's like, Janet, I'll super chat you $100. Show us your feet. And you do that and you ruin your channel.
I won't do it. If they want OnlyFans, then they can go to OnlyFans. I've had people ask me to send them pictures of my feet. And I'm like, why? What do you want? You know, I'm not going to do it. So I don't care. I'm not that hard up. I mean, I got chickens. I have eggs. I can grow a few things for myself. And if I get bad off, I can just get a job, you know, outside the home.
True. I think you're missing out on some money by not having a chicken stream.
I'm working on that. I'm slowly showing my chickens as they grow. And then now that I know how to do a live stream, thanks to Bruce, maybe I have a GoPro. Maybe I can put a GoPro on one of my chickens, let it run around with the other chickens and give everybody a view of what it's like to be a day in the life of the chicken.
Oh my God. Watching it destroy your lawn as it goes after grubs, that'd be priceless.
Just put it right on its little chest and let it just go to town and see what happens. I mean, why not? I have the stuff. I bought it. It was on sale. I bought it after Christmas and I got all the stuff. I mean, I got like the water things so you can go in the water, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's amazing what came with it. So I bought it as a package deal after Christmas special. And I do it from my phone. So that's cool. But I have to learn how to use all that stuff. So
I'm going to tell you guys, and this is Travis hits it on the nail here. This is why we love Janet. She's dirty, wholesome fun.
Huh?
Absolutely.
What's the dirty part of it?
We'll get to that later.
Uh-oh.
Whenever you blurt it out, and you do, God love you. You have some amazing like she's not from 2020, is she? She's not a 20-something. No, what Janet says is something that a Gen Xer would say, which is great. Dirty, wholesome fun. God, yes. You should take that to Teespring. Janet's face, dirty, wholesome fun. Janet from Another Planet on the back of the t-shirt. There you go. I'm telling you, Janet, that would you should do that. Dirty, wholesome fun. Janet from Another
If I ever
Planet.
get a store on my channel, I'll have to do something.
It's 3 clicks. We can help you.
Okay. Well,
I
you're the only reason I know how to
stream.
stream.
What?
You're the only reason I even know how to stream now. I mean, I paid money and did all this stuff and set up everything and was doing all these things and nothing worked. So it's like, I can't fix what's broken if you don't know how to fix it. So, well.
We'll get you squared away. We'll get you some money rolling in. You and Hungar the Starvarian are going to have the most fan shirts in my closet. I tell you.
Well, I love some of the shirts that you've worn with the little afro and all that stuff. It's just hilarious. And that one about who shit my pants or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
You got some really good shirts. I can tell you that.
I have some really good friends. I want to just say to everybody, appreciate you guys. We're staying late a little bit here. Didn't mean to stay late. This is the nature of our business. We talk, but really appreciate everybody sticking around. Chat's still active. Janet's not like turned into a pumpkin, which if you ever watch an 8.5-hour game stream, at the end of it, like we shut off the stream and like there's usually the green room time where everybody's in the green room talking and chawing and just chewing the fat and saying what they like, what they hate, and all that. You hear Greg bitch about the chat. And that's Greg. That's nothing against anybody in the chat. That's just Greg because he's bitter and he wants to play a board game. Anyway, you have Janet, which she will last 6 minutes, and then her hunger will rise to be larger than her need to be social, and she gets out. And then I won't see Janet. Yeah, I won't see Janet at all for like 10 hours because I got to sleep anyway.
Yeah.
And then the next day when I wake up, Janet's up at 4:51 sending me a message on Discord.
Well, I get up early in the morning. That's why I'm tired at night.
It's understandable. Everybody else is up to like 1 or 2 in the morning. They don't leave the screen. They stay in the screen for like 6 hours.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing. I don't know how you guys do it. I just can't do it. My clock is ticking and I have a rooster that starts crowing outside my window. So I might have a couple more roosters once I get these babies bigger.
That's like I've seen full frontal on this site, naked yoga, waxing, some dude with his junk hanging out, Elsa Gate, animal stuff, no bullshit. Awesome ones listening to Janet talking. He's like, my God, that's every Southern woman.
Do I have a real Southern accent?
You kind of do, but it's not like a true Southern. You're not the dirty South like Nashville, Chattanooga. Hey, Will Breaker, how you doing, sir? You have a Southern accent. Like I can tell you're around the Mason-Dixon line, but I know that you're not Georgia, Tennessee, and you're definitely not Kentucky. But yeah, if your daughter speaks this way, then I'll know it's an Arkansas thing.
Well, she's already sleeping right now. She has to work in the womb. That's for you.
You're good. You're good. And I'm just saying, like, if your daughter talks like you, it's an Arkansas thing. I can usually start to place people after about maybe 20 minutes. I can tell if they're like, are you Tyler, Texas, or Waco?
I have relatives in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Maine, Arizona, Georgia, and Connecticut. So I've got lots of relatives from both sides of my family. So Louisiana.
It's pretty cool.
So Because my dad still has a huge, really strong New York accent because he's from Albany, New York. So,
Great summary right here. You've got a hint of twang, Janet. Don't lose it. It's character.
well, it's kind of hard to pretend that you don't have something because when you get, especially when you get excitable or angry or whatever, your accent tends to pop out without even, trying to do it. It just comes out all by itself, So, but thank you guys, everybody, for coming. I hope we didn't bore you or drive you insane. So
Overstay are welcome. That's the thing I always worry about when we start talking after the movie.
mhm.
I always worry about that we start like overstaying our welcome and we make ourselves too comfortable with our friends in the chat. I don't mean to do that. I want you guys to feel comfy here. Do I ever want to disrespect you? Never. Never. I want you guys to,
I like it. I like them being themselves. Bowsette came into my stream that I did for my friends on the Spaces one, and we talked a lot in there. There was a couple people in and out talking, but I like it. I like having real questions and real answers and trying to have real discussion about things. That's the only way to solve anything is actual discussion and talking about it. If everybody just says, "Oh, here, tack to the hand" or whatever, how do you get anything done? So I like it. I think it's good for everyone. I wish more people would do it, but it's like I said, people are afraid to voice their opinion because they're either going to get ostracized or doxxed or something. It's fear. And that's a sad thing that we'd be in America and feel that way, huh?
It's fear, completely fear.
Mm-hmm.
People are scared of being. Their fear of missing out and fear of being ostracized are two things that people will bend the rules of reality for them to work around. They don't want to have to deal with that. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thank
you for coming, everyone. I hope you come back next week when we do our special show for our 52. It's 52, right? For
Yes,
1
ma'am.
year. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I think it's fun every week, so I love it. But I like talking, so that's just, I guess, my downfall of myself. But I'm just me.
Proud of you, Bowsette. Thank you. Everybody be well. Good night.
And how he survived it.